Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we promised the last time, we're going to have a part two of the series on ethical issues in healthcare and health information management practices. Alhamdulillah, we're still together with our guest, Dr. Umar Farooq Abu Bakr. This series is a continuation of the last series we had, which was the part one, and today is going to be the part two, a continuation. And Doctor, we asked series of questions which we promised the viewers that we're going to complete the question. But before we move to the next questions, I want you to use this opportunity to give a salam to the viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Viewers, thank you once again for having me on this program.
Thank you very much, sir. So if you recall, the last question we asked, that was sometimes last week, was on the sources of ethics, and you gave us some explanation. You listed some sources of ethics ranging from religion, from code of ethics, the Hippocrates code of ethics, and some of this. So today we want to look at the next question on our list, which is what are actually the consequences of unethical conduct in healthcare practice?
The consequences of unethical conduct in healthcare practice has to do with the way it will shortchange the healthcare delivery to patients. In other words, you will not have a qualitative service delivery in the hospital because a standard of care has been breached. But each standard of care of every professional practice is ethically based. It's based on ethics and it's based on quality and it's based on standard procedure which ought to have followed. So definitely the standard of care is breached. If standard of care is breached, then the required service is not be delivered to the patient, which may lead to a substandard care or even a kind of inaccuracy or error in the process of service delivery to patients. That's the reason why ethical practices need to be observed in order to ensure code of conduct of that profession is being observed and standard of care is being observed and the patient is having optimum care, very qualitative service delivery that is expected. So once ethics is breached, it's not only that quality service or substandard care is being delivered, it has not been seen to have supported or promoted the respect for patients. That means all those principles of management have principles of ethics have been violated, like the principle of beneficence, which should show actions that support kindness, generosity, charity, goodness, compassion, empathy, sympathy. If there's no ethics, those things will be violated. At the same time, the principle of non-malfeasance may also have been violated because harm may, be applied to the patient who is not supposed to be so. So also the principle of justice also may have been violated because there is no fairness, equality, and of course equity. So also principle of autonomy might also been violated because no dignity shown to patients and no freedom, for instance, of choice or action, etc., because of unethical conduct.
So that means, in a nutshell, code of ethics or consequences of unethical conduct will affect the patient directly.
Of course.
Unethical conduct will surely affect the patient. So it's necessary that all professionals in the healthcare environment should observe their code of conduct so that at the end of the day, the patient will receive the best care.
The best of care. And also, as we said, ethics is internally controlling the behavior of a professional towards a good action and avoiding the bad action. So it's supposed to be a habit. It's supposed to be something that will create a spontaneous action. Nobody needs to stand on you in order to be ethically compliant, because it should be natural. It should be a habitual. It should be part of your attitude to work. So that is how it's supposed to be.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. We'll move to the next question, which says, is ethics applicable in biomedical research involving human participants?
Definitely, ethics is not only about patient care. It's also applicable or applied to area of biomedical research or research involving human participants. Because I've told you in the past that as a result of the World War II, there was evidences of gross violation of dignity of human beings. People at that time, when they were captured as prisoners of war, were subjected to very, very unethical procedures in terms of testing of drugs, chemicals, and so on, without their consent, without their permission, without the respect to the dignity and also as human beings. So now, after the war, a United Nations was formed, which came with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that tried to upgrade the human rights requirements and make sure that a lot of things were done prior to that research. For instance, the need for consent and a voluntary decision for the participant, to allow certain experimentation or testing to take place on him. So you can see then definitely ethics is now applied to biomedical research, because in every research that is going to be done, for instance, in the proposal, there are supposed to be a kind of ethical considerations. And this ethical consideration means you have to show how you are going to conduct research in an ethical way. And an ethical way means all those basic principles of ethics, principle of beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, autonomy have been captured in your proposal, and how to also ensure, for instance, confidentiality if the data of patients is going to be collected, and also to show that you've not forced patients to do something by force. That is supposed to be based on voluntariness. You should have a voluntary provision that in such a way that he can just allow it to be done by his own consent. Nobody will force him. There is no due pressure. There shouldn't be any pressure on the patient for him to allow that research to take place. And part of this ethics in biomedical research also involve, for instance, if you are going to collect data from a patient who you happen to be the person treating him, his doctor, then it's not supposed to be so. You assign someone to do that because of some conflict of interest. There are conflicts of interest. And also it has to go with informed consent. We have types of consent which has to do with implied consent, express consent, and informed consent.